and if you stay on that track, and it worked out pretty much the way I planned it.
Very wise.
So it's easy to say that the character, Ronnie Garvin, is pretty close to the real person, right?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Well, see, when we did interviews, everything was from here.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't scripted. It wasn't somebody wrote it for you. I couldn't do that. Yeah. That's why I don't think I'd make a good actor following the script. That's not
Oddly
me.
enough.
I don't know, man. You're flying planes, so I mean, someone that can fly planes is pretty
Well, I
intelligent
got
guy.
so
That's
lucky,
for sure.
so lucky to be able to do everything I wanted to do. That was another planning. You know, after I quit wrestling, I flew cargo, got hired by a company. I had 5,000 hours, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, you must be pretty good at
Really
it
enjoyed
because it
Well, you
sounds,
said
sounds dangerous
you
to the
did say-
barrel flying planes.
You did
but-
say something to me earlier, though. You said if you would have known about flying planes or earlier before, you would have never been a wrestler.
What?
Oh yeah, I probably would have never wrestled.
Well, you would have flown over the cage at Starcade
Over the
87
cage.
and waved? I wonder what the...
I still could have.
No,
pretty funny.
no, wrestle,
I fly over the cage. I still can drop a bomb.
I wanted to ask you, what was it like working with the Poffos, back in the ICW days?
It was interesting.
Are they like they were on camera off screen? Because if so,
They
wow.
were different kind of people that I was used to. I mean, everybody has their own way, but Angelo Poffo was a different animal. I've never been around people like that, where money was their god.
Really?
Absolute god.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially Angelo. And Randy. Lanny was happy-go-lucky guy, nice guy.
Okay.
The other guys, the other two, Angelo every day. I was in the office. I owned 20% of the promotion.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I'd go in the office. And,
Well, let me ask you, can we just go back a little bit? How do you end up owning part of Poffo's organization?
well, because I was part owner of when we were in opposition to Fuller. We went against them and Ron Fuller in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They were operating there out of Lexington, and we were operating out of Knoxville. And it was a battle because it was, and so they're the one that approached us. They wanted, because we had a lot of talent. Bob Roop, Bob Orton, Malenko and all the, and that's how we got involved, and they wanted me involved in their promotion. I said, well, I'm going to need 20%, and they agreed.
What was
Otherwise,
it
I
like?
wouldn't have joined.
What was it like on a daily basis? Like you said, you were walking into the office. What was it?
I really never had a problem. I just watched the way they operated, and better rich and dead than poor and alive. I heard that every day. Every
I've heard him quote.
It was almost like a prayer.
Wow.
And I said, that don't make no sense. Better rich and dead than poor and alive. Poor people have a great time sometimes.
It's true.
They drink moonshine, they party,
yeah.
they smoke a joint,
Yeah, a couple of aspirin in the morning, interview Rugged Ronnie, wait a minute, what am I saying?
And if you were poor, they didn't have any respect for you. There was a few wrestlers, they knew they were broke, and they just, they didn't have no respect.
Did you see the potential in Macho Man Randy Savage back in those days?
I didn't think he'd go that far. He was very,
Interesting.
he's a talented guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Oh,
talented, and but he was like that in life, 24 hours a day.
He was.
He was paranoid, I think.
Wow,
I
he
might
must
be
have-
wrong. I'm not a psychiatrist.
So he was wound up
But-
like an alarm clock. What do you?
A couple of times I would do something, nice or something. What are you doing that for? And he was always on the lookout for. I never understood
So
it.
he was paranoid, like
I
everybody
think
was
so.
said.
I think so. I think
This
he
is
was a
before
paranoid.
Elizabeth, isn't it? Wow.
But yeah, the only real fight I had in wrestling was with him.
Do tell.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, it didn't last very long.
It didn't last very
Hey,
long. What caused it? What?
I was wrestling for Jim Crockett,
Okay.
and they just came in, him and Angelo and Leaping Lanny, into the promotion, and I didn't know them. I had heard of them, but I didn't know them. So I'm booked to wrestle in Columbia, South Carolina, and my partner was Tiger Conway Jr. And I go way back. The guy's a nice guy. I used to know his dad. Nice family, and so we get in the ring, and I knew something was wrong. There was something going on with the Poffos against him.
Okay.
And well, if you're my partner, I'm gonna stick with you.
Sure.
I ain't leaving you.
Sure.
So during the match, man, it was cussing. I mean, it was, you know,
Real shots being
yeah,
thrown?
it wasn't going real well.
Okay.
And anyway, at the end, it happened. They were going to jump him, and so I got involved. And as I was walking around the ring, keeping Lanny at bay, because it was one-on-one at that point, and Lanny was kicking at me and everything, but he was keeping his distance, and I didn't want to hurt Lanny or really get in a fight with him.
So Lenny was like half-hearted into this whole situation?
Well,
kinda?
when I got around the ring, Randy was on top of Tiger,
Okay.
and they put a rope around the ring on those pedestal things,
Sure.
concrete bottom.
Sure.
I picked that up, and that was the end of the fight.
Jeez.
So, well,
Ow.
some people got hurt in the process, in the schmalls,
And then,
at ringside.
wow.
Well, not hurt bad, but maybe their ankles,
Yeah.
they got,
Victim of circumstance.
But anyway, I got all
Yeah.
the blame,
There you go.
you know.
There you go.
And so that's when I left the promotion, which I didn't care. I was wrestling the next day somewhere else.
Did it get even worse in the locker room afterwards with
No.
you guys? Or
No,
just,
I never saw him anymore.
right.
Never saw him, no. And
But this is
I never
before
saw
you
him.
did business with them?
I never saw him till that year. It was, I think it was 1980, I think.
Okay.
79 or 80.
Okay.
And this had happened in the 75, 76, I
Oh,
think,
wow.
in Charlotte. I
Okay.
never heard from him,
Interesting.
And
And years
but
later,
he
you
brought
guys
it
are
up.
doing
He
business
brought it
together.
up quite a few times. He used to call it the concrete block in the back. Well, you're
Hey,
in a
thanks
fight.
for- thanks for-
Don't drag it on.
You mentioned Jim Crockett. We lost him recently.
Yeah.
Can you share your feelings on Jim Crockett Jr.?
Jim was a good guy, but he was, I think he was a little bit gullible when it come to Dusty controlling everything.
Mm.
And Flair, they would ready to take advantage of him, I think. They convinced him to buy jets, airplane, and all the things that we're doing and promoting, but Jimmy even bought Dusty a brand new Mercedes sports one, he was mesmerized with him. And the guy was booking cards with 30, 40 guys on it. I mean, come on. It's not quantity of matches, it's the quality of the matches. And he had all these chain match, cowbell match. Geez. And I knew a guy that worked, his name was Sandy Scott. He was the guy in charge bringing the money back and taking care of the, show at the building, make sure everything was going okay. And he told me, he's a good friend of mine. And he says, I saw it coming. He said, I'm seeing it coming. We bring home $90,000. We lost $30,000.
There we
I'm
go.
proud for you to wear it, believe me.
All right, Fonzie, here we go. I would like you to give me, if you can, your Mount Rushmore 4 faces. The Mount Rushmore
Okay.
of ECW. Who are the 4
Well, you know-
faces you would put on a mountaintop for ECW?
All right, no doubt in my mind, Sabu, suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Sabu.
Is one.
No doubt Paul Heyman. No doubt Sandman.
You only got one more.
Well, the last one he is superhuman. Really, this kid is superhuman. Nobody can do the 5-star frog splash like RVD.
Thank you.
Eddie Guerrero, fantastic. But Van Damme is he's superhuman and he's really badass. He's really good. So that's my 4 right there.
There we go.
And an honorable mention for Todd Gordon, Sandman, all these guys. But, you know, my guys are, you know, and of course me, honorable mention. I'm chiseled in the back, Daddy.
Yeah. We'll put a whistle next to those.
Hell yeah, Daddy.
There
Like
you
I got
go.
my kicks, baby. Did you guys see my kicks?
Uh-oh.
Look at those kicks.
Check out these shoes, guys.
Look at those shoes.
Look at this.
He's got his face on there. I need a pair of shoes.
Yeah, we need Monty and the Pharaoh sneakers.
I've worn them a couple of times. I got a friend making them in Florida. He's got a company. You guys get a hold of me on social media. I'll hook you up with them. They're pretty cool. Does fantastic work, and I love them. And I wore them special for you guys because I don't wear them other than in the ring.
Just make sure no one steps on those. That's for sure.
Correct, Daddy.
I want to remind fans next Thursday at 9 p.m. or this Thursday, they're going to have the draft, and Lesnar's going to Raw.
See, now that's brilliant. See, that's brilliant because that just escapes. He just escapes. It's an escape clause.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works because Brock's going to kill him. I agree. Brock will beat him.
And then everybody might get pissed off because Brock beats Big E for the title.
Too
and
bad,
then you
let him
might have
bitch.
that confrontation
That'd be
at
great.
WrestleMania.
Right.
Right?
But let him
Lesnar
bitch,
reigns.
though. How'd you go let Big E lose? No, this guy's never going to show up. He never defends his title. We'll be back to those complainers.
802 wants to know if you think Finn's alter ego will beat Roman Reigns.
Nope.
That's it? Nope.
And I have another comment, too.
Go ahead.
Boy, oh boy, did the demon look small standing next to Roman Reigns. I don't care what kind of face paint or war paint you put on. You still look like you're half the size of the guy. You know?
And
also, another thing, too, there was something different about the demon's look this time. Not as imposing.
No,
There's
it wasn't.
something-
It looked soft.
What is that?
Yeah, I agree.
Is it the goofy haircut that he's got going on?
Maybe.
He just didn't...
It's a really good point, man. I was thinking the same thing. It didn't look like the demon.
Right, it didn't feel like the traditional demon. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird. You know, when they stood there face to face, I was like, Roman's going to kill you. I'm not afraid. This doesn't do anything to change my, a perception.
You're right.
You know?
You're right.
I think the Tasmanian Devil would have a better shot.
Wow, that's really a good point.
Yeah,
man.
it was weird. It was weird. But a great ending to the show. Killer ending to the show. And with the demon and them staring off. That's cool. Fade to black.
So now
That's fine.
Now that you're watching live instead of like afterwards,
Yeah. Now that I got it.
what's your evaluation of Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage? If you could give an evaluation to me on all 4 shows, what are you thinking?
Okay. All right, fine. Raw recently is rebounding better. I have not been thrilled with Raw for quite a while now. I think it's kind of blasé, but I really did enjoy this past week. I didn't mind the tag team turmoil the week before. I think it's improving, and I'll leave it at that because trying to be like a page out of Matty Ice here. I want to be optimistic about Raw. It's always going to be the flagship show to me. It's the show I've been watching since I was a young man, for God's sakes. So yeah, I'm rooting for it, and it's doing better lately. SmackDown is great. Okay? SmackDown's top shelf, in my opinion. I think SmackDown is an awesome television show.
Right.
Week after week after week after week after week. I love it. They don't have to mess with it much. I think it's fantastic, okay? Dynamite, I like. I think it is normally pretty good. Rampage, I got to admit, I am a little concerned with what they intend to do with it. It doesn't seem to be as much care is being put into it or whatever. The end result is it doesn't do for me what Dynamite seems to do for me as a viewer. Rampage, they got to work out a few kinks, I think. So, and again, though, all right, so in my opinion, 2 of the 4 that you brought up are surefire, pretty damn good to great. And the other 2, meaning Raw and Rampage, still need some work. That's pretty much my take on that.
802, I'm just going to keep reading your comments.
Okay, what's he got?
You guys got a SmackDown 1, Dynamite 2,
Yeah.
Rampage 3, Raw 4.
Interesting. I'm not ready to give Rampage number 3 yet. I'm almost going to take Rampage and Raw and call them 3 and 3A. And you can flip the order if you want to. I totally get that. They're similar to me, like Show Me More. That's pretty much where I'm at with those 2 shows. And I do enjoy what they did with Raw this past week. That was excellent. We need more of that.
I think there's a lot of Raw bashing going on. It's not that bad.
I agree. It's not that good sometimes,
No,
but it's been better
It
lately.
is what it is.
Yeah.
But isn't all... Let me tell you something. Almost all the shows are what they are. You know,
Right.
SmackDown seems to be head and shoulders above everybody else. That's my opinion.
I do wish they would take 1 hour off of Raw. It's okay. You know,
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
I
Yeah.
really wish they would do that.
Keep
if they
'em
did
coming.
that, I'm telling you, Raw would be fantastic if it was 2 hours. It's that extra third hour. It's really hard to sit there for 3 hours because half the time, half the show is almost throwaway. If you got 2 hours, You got less nonsense. Get all the good stuff in.
Right.
So that's what they should do with that.
So, by the way, Cauliflower Alley Club was
Yeah.
this week, right?
Okay.
What do you know about Cauliflower Alley Club?
I know that it's a very tight knit group that celebrates the true traditions and legacies of professional wrestling.
So, like
I know
anything
that.
in wrestling,
You know.
everybody out there,
Respectable.
and I'm going to clearly say this:
Okay.
if you first get into this genre that we're in,
Yeah.
and we started off 2 years ago, didn't really know much,
Right.
and we were taught fairly quick,
Or did we get a crash course? Yeah.
from some of the freaks we've run into
Sure.
from time to time.
Oh, some.
So the Cauliflower Alley Club was like, you were prestigious, right? You were like, if you go to the Cauliflower Alley Club,
Okay.
you're really, you're
doing something
in.
right.
You're in
doing-
that family,
You're
right?
doing something right. Yeah. Mhm.
But then you sit there and then you start to find out things, and then you start seeing these people that you've kind of run in through our travels.
Yeah.
They're at the Cauliflower Alley Club. You're like,
Right.
wow, these guys are in. Like,
Right.
these guys, like, if you people out there watching, if you saw some of these people, they're friggin' fucking losers.
Right.
Okay. Losers
that's-
with a fucking capital
Yeah.
L.
That's fair. That's
More than fair. It's fact.
Yeah. Oh,
So I thought to myself, how the fuck are they in the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Mm-hmm.
But then, as you learn, and I started investigating
Yeah.
because Big Fat Whale's over there.
Oh, now I'm not interested in them at all.
Well, the thing is,
good job, Mike.
do you know what I found out?
What's that?
I found out in order to be part of the Cauliflower Alley Club, you
Yeah.
have to pay $300 a year.
Really?
Membership.
That's nice.
$300 a year.
That's nice.
And that doesn't even guarantee you anything. So you get to go, and you still have to buy a ticket to it.
Right.
Where
Do you have to
everybody
pay for
sells
your-
their gimmicks.
You have to pay for your own chicken wings?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting.
But all I'm saying is, I would, when me and Jimmy first started off, right? We just did it, shits and giggles. Show started picking up momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and some of these people had these award shows, and Jimmy, go tell the story about the award show.
Oh.
Don't name the show, but just
No. There was this award show, and I remember you going, "Oh, let's win this." And I said right on the air, "I'm like, what are we winning? What are you talking about?"
Right.
And we've come across a lot of people who probably have need for shoulder scrapage, surgically from patting themselves on the back. They give themselves fake awards, and or
like,
they hold awards.
I wanted
and
to-
no one votes.
I thought this-
Or they hold awards, and the people who won the award don't come.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck is going on there?
But my whole point was, like, I wanted to win that award because I wanted this show to grow, and it was getting momentum.
but
But guess what? That's how stupid I am. That award meant nothing.
Didn't mean you were stupid.
And I thought to myself 2 years ago, man, we really arrived if we could get invited to the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Why did this never occur to me? Like, we've really arrived if we get an invite from people who charge $350 a year.
Well, that's the joke about it. It's just nothing but gimmick
Right.
after gimmick.
Of course.
But people act like it's important.
Right.
Oh,
Wait a
I
sec-
went to the
Do they
Cauliflower
actually
Alley
have
Club.
a membership card and stuff like that?
I don't know,
'Cause
dude. I
this
don't
is
know. We're not
starting to
members.
really repulse me. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm.
Well, no, the better thing is like, hi, I'm part of the Cauliflower Alley Club. Well, so could I if I paid $300.
What about the most?
Who could it be?
What about the most offensive thing that we've really seen? Why don't we just go straight?
Just
to
go
the-
straight
Let's
to-
go straight to the.
What the
fucking
fuck,
thing,
right?
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah, some of these folks who have wrestled in front of like 4 people. I'm in the business. Well,
Yeah.
Can I please?
Please, it's
There
a,
you-
the,
right, there you go.
the show is yours.
There you go. There you go. You're in the business. Yeah.
I'm in the business.
You're in the business.
I'm in the
Right,
business.
Right. Or, hey, I went to a convention and had a wrestler chop me. I'm in the business.
Or how about this?
You fucking
hey,
gotta be kidding me.
I write for some friggin' stupid ass internet thing that I call pro wrestling whatever. I don't care because there's a million of them. Pro wrestling garage, pro wrestling cover sheets, pro wrestling up my
Right.
ass.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm a writer.
Right.
I'm in the business.
I'm in the
I can
business.
write too.
Right.
Oh, look, I'll write a story.
Right.
Whoop-de-doo.
Right.
I'll write a story
Hey,
about
hey.
Boris Zukov in the AWA when he lost his tooth.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on already with this
Hey,
nonsense.
Monty and the Pharaoh, who Ken Patera compared us to like guys like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Hey, Monty and the Pharaoh, who Sandman compares to Howard Stern.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Monty the Pharaoh, let me write your questions for you. Wait. Oh, here I go again.
Do you remember that guy?
No.
Do you remember
I
that
don't.
guy? I do.
I remember the absurdity, but I don't remember the
So
guy.
Jimmy doesn't want to go down a road, Bob to go down a road. We met a guy who wrote for one of those stupid internet things. Like, if you guys watch out there, you could just look it up. There's like people
Don't
write
bother.
stories all the time. Don't bother.
Don't bother.
The guy who goes, I would like to be your writer for the show. I will write your questions.
You'll write the questions for us.
And we were
'Cause
like,
we don't have a clue.
yeah, and we're
obviously.
like, shut up.
Well, thank God we've got you to go to. You know what I mean? Because
I
after
can't.
all, you know.
But anyway, that was my lesson on the
joke.
Cauliflower Alley
What a
Club.
joke. What?
That was my lesson on the
Yeah.
Cauliflower Alley
Well, you
Club.
know what my lesson is you ain't getting my $350 and enjoy telling each other that you're in the business.
Yeah, it's
Have
like,
a nice day.
Pay $350,
You know?
fly your ass to Vegas,
Right.
rent a hotel room,
Right.
and go watch what?
I don't know.
Go to a place where people, and you got to buy a ticket to go in, and then buy people's gimmicks?
Well, maybe if you're lucky, somebody will chop you.
That's an expensive little trip.
Yeah.
To do what?
I don't know.
To say I was part of the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Yeah, I'm part of whatever. I don't know. I would be more excited about being a member of the KISS Army, quite honestly.
Now, I'd fly to go be part of the KISS Army.
I
Yeah,
was
hell
in the
yeah.
KISS Army. What are you talking
Damn
about?
straight.
I got a patch, and I got a concert book, and I got a shirt, and it didn't cost me $350.
Damn straight.
It cost me $5.
Damn straight.
$5. I got all those things from Gene and Paul.
Cauliflower Alley.
Happy Yom Kippur, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the Cauliflower
What?
Alley Club was
What?
built to help the poor wrestlers that their medical isn't any good.
Well, at least there's something there. Hey, I ain't gonna say shit about that. At least there's something there.
What do you mean?
They don't give it to
What
them.
pay for? I don't know whether they give it to them or not. What, pay for
Wait
the
a
guys
minute, is
who
that the
burnt
next
off,
thing you're gonna
pay
tell
the
me? I
guy,
don't know what
pay
that
for the
is.
guys who burnt their money away, their millions and millions of dollars. I can't afford my medical anymore. I used it all already. Oh, let me
Well,
use your money.
You know whose fault that is? That's obviously Vince's fault.
No, it's obvious.
You know what
and
I
the
mean.
fans'
I'm
fault
being
too.
sarcastic.
It's the fans'
Yeah.
fault too.
Right.
Right? Because
yeah.
you know, 802 Blues has to give his money to
Right.
superstar Billy Graham.
You wait a
Please.
minute. Doesn't have to. He better. Because Billy Graham said if you don't give him money, he's unfriending you.
Oh, that's right. Remember that guy?
dick. What a dick.
Woo!
Oh, but he was champion back in the day. You better give him irreversible, unconditional respect. Dick. Superstar Billy Graham. Big dick.
It's a loony land.
Yeah, it is a loony land. Say what you
Alexa
want.
Bliss stuns.
Get your thoughts on, because I do believe he's incredibly underrated, and I feel like history is almost like he's going under the radar as the years go by. How underrated was Bobby Eaton? I thought Bobby Eaton was fantastic. Do you feel he's underrated a little bit over the years? Like he doesn't get enough love? Because I feel like he doesn't. This is my opinion, of course, but thoughts on Bobby Eaton?
From the real boys, he gets a lot of love.
I bet he does.
Bobby, Dad, I want you to stop and think about this. How many stories have you heard about Bobby Eaton? Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard any of the boys say something bad about him?
Not yet. We've been doing this quite a while. Not a word.
Nobody has.
Yeah, not a word.
Bobby is, I love Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton,
It was a pleasure working with him.
him and Jerry Lawler, I thought, Bobby being in the tag teams, and Jerry could tell some of the greatest stories in a match there ever was. And it's not the big things. It's the little things that Bobby did in a match that caught your attention, because nobody else does stuff like that. And all, Bobby was the greatest. But I don't know if it's because Cornette's got so much heat with the offices that they have to. I don't know. I love Jimmy Cornette too. I don't care what he says of. There's nothing he can say to make me not love him. I don't care. He has his podcast, and he blisters people's asses.
He goes
But-
wild. Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
but
He hates us, by the way.
He
Just
does.
throw that
He-
right in there.
Does he really?
blocked us. He blocked us. Hi,
Did he
Jim.
really?
How you doing there, buddy?
Jim's not a fan.
What? Hi, Jim. Hey,
well, I don't know.
You're ruining wrestling.
But,
who's ruining wrestling?
but
Me?
if
Hi,
nothing-
Jim.
Yeah, if nothing else, but they did put him in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Robert and I are going into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in October. One in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's a great honor. Thank you guys. But if nothing else, WWE, they don't got to put Cornette, but they need to bring the Midnight Express on stage.
Sure.
And they really need to have somebody there to tell them the greatest heel team
Of all time.
that ever performed.
You're not going to get an argument
I mean,
from me. No
this is
argument
what we're
from
trying
me.
to do here, right? We're trying
What's
to
that?
we're trying to educate the newer fans on icons like yourself
The
that
history.
have made this business, and sometimes it just gets lost in translation.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that, fella, because I've been watching wrestling, and I've been watching where they're going, and you see where Vince just let go 20 more people. I'm sorry for the guys and they're, but I think they're going to have to re-educate our fans all over again, because now if you watch TV, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not knocking the guys, but holy shit, they all dress alike. They all got the ripped bodies, which that's cool. I mean, because you are professional wrestlers and you look good, but you still got to have your other ones. You still got to have the guys with the gimmicks, and you still got to learn how to get heat to make this pay-per-view next week something to watch. And the damn first thing they need to do is don't let the people know what the finishes are. God damn, they already know everything before they go there.
Or how about make it a little more realistic?
Huh?
How about make it more realistic?
Yeah, bring back some realism.
Okay.
I want to feel like I'm watching a fight
Okay,
with a
then
purpose.
Thank you for saying that.
Please.
In my time, when I was in my prime, and I took pride in this, okay? My deal was to give Robert a hot tag. He could do the best comeback in the world. You understand me?
Yeah, you'd get annihilated.
But listen to me. If I can make the guy on the front row really believe what's happened to me is happening. Now I'm talking about, if you shoot me out of a fucking cannon, I'm not going to kick out on one. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Today's fan doesn't, but I do.
See, now I'm thinking about him. Now, just think when I'm wrestling, and Arn Anderson keeps asking me, and my nickname's Punky. Arn Anderson be asking me, "Go, Punky, you okay? Are you hurt?" Now, even the guy I'm wrestling thinks I'm hurt. So what the hell you think that guy way up there in that saying? What the hell you think that guy on TV saying? All right?
Oh, yeah.
And in our business, it's not about putting over or losing a match. It's a business. See,
You got to have a
people-
good guy and a bad guy.
Huh?
To draw money, you got to have a good guy and a bad guy.
Yes, but
Absolutely.
see, drawing money as a baby face, I don't want to win. You see, because if I win, what am I going to do next week?
It's the chase.
You understand?
The chase.
Well, the fans
People
want-
pay to see me win. They
Right.
don't pay to see me lose when you're a champion.
Right.
And if a heel screws you every week or every month or whatever you do, that's what puts asses back in the seats.
Yeah.
And it's hard. But see, I'm glad you said that, because it's going to come a time when they're going to need people like that. And finally, I might get a damn job with a big company in the back.
There you go.
Because I know that. And I know how to explain it to the guys. I know what they're doing. Even on the independent circuit, the guy asked me, "Hey, would you watch my match?" I say, "Sure." And I go out and watch it. And he comes back and I said, "Did you watch the match before you?" He goes, "No." I said, "Well, you did the same damn thing. It's just a repeat of everything." And it's like Robert and I nowadays, when we go on these independent shows, I was talking to Eric about this earlier. I like to go on before intermission, because most of them are 27 matches. People sit there and see the same shit over and over and over, and nobody knows how to work the crowd. Nobody has to do this right here. And if we're on 27th, and I'm not, but they already got our autograph and they're gone.
They're already drained.
Because it's 2 o'clock in the damn morning. Nobody gives a shit no more.
Right.
But if you keep the people interested in the card, see, this is what was good in the old days. You had your opening matches that built up,
Right.
and then your semi-main event was an angle.
But then
which
again,
is the
it was an
tag team
exclusive
deal.
club too. Now everybody and their brother can be a wrestler. I mean, shit. At my
It
age,
feels
I could
like
go
that.
pay $250. I want to be a wrestler.
It feels like
Oh,
that.
yes, I got you.
Yeah, it feels like that. Everybody's a
crazy.
wrestler.
Everybody comes up to you, and see, this is what kills me too. They give you the wrestling handshake. It's what they think it's a wrestling handshake. They don't have a clue what that even means. And I do.
Did you have someone try to give you the wrestler? Hey, what's
Yeah,
up, bro?
yeah, like
What was that?
You know, look at,
Shake
I'm
my
going,
hand.
what the
What the
fuck,
hell?
man? What are you doing? But they don't understand.
Yeah.
See, that's the main thing about the guys today. If you're gonna break them into the business, see, I don't teach a headlock at my wrestling school. I got somebody else to do that. I teach you how to understand our business. And then and that's the same thing I was telling my daddy. What I'm explaining to you right now, I'll be better off talking at wall because you ain't gonna have a clue what I'm talking about until later on, and it hit you,
It will hit you like a brick.
and then it will. And see, that's what I try.
You're like, damn, that's what Daddy was talking about.
Yes, and that's what I try to teach my people at my wrestling school.
What's a greater battle, teaching the physical or teaching the psychological? It sounds like teaching the psychological.
Psychology. You learn that by experiencing over and over and
Yes.
over. That's how you,
Yes.
that's finally when it comes to you.
Interesting.
You know, the physical part these days, that's some bullshit. You know,
It's gymnastics for the
Well,
most
let me
part.
ask you this: does it get you mad? Now, I'm pointing out AEW for example, but a guy like Orange Cassidy comes out and makes a joke of the business, kicking you in the shin, has his hands in his pockets. As a professional and a Hall of Famer like yourself, aren't you angry over this?
no, I'm no. But
Is
see, but
it
it's one
because
thing-
being over is over, or
No, but one thing about getting old in the business, you got to go. You got to go with the flow.
Understood?
Actually, Orange Cassidy's a hell of a worker.
Right, I understand that.
We're in the entertainment business, and Vince done told everybody that. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. I'm not here to do stuff like that. You know, everything's a hard road, but see, as Orange Cassidy being a regular wrestler, where do you go? But when Orange Cassidy stuck his hands in his pockets, he went to the top,
Yeah, is that gimmick sustainable though? No, it's not.
What's
it's not
that?
It's not a sustainable gimmick. You can't sustain that gimmick.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and back then it wouldn't have worked. But I'm just saying,
Your buddy Cornette
If-
absolutely loves Orange Cassidy. Oh
if-
boy, he kills him.
if you had great workers this
Jim
time,
Cornette.
because I understand, I love to work with him because I understand his gimmick.
Sure, understood.
But see, a lot of the guys he works don't understand his gimmick. That's the whole point of our business that I like to teach people. To me, we have, everybody, your opinion is like your ass. Everybody's
That's right.
got
Everybody's got one.
and but it's good. I like it.
Honestly, it's a very original thing he came up with. Obviously,
Okay,
who on earth is
at
doing
least-
that? You know, you
At
got to give
least
him
he's
that.
different.
Absolutely.
And at least he don't look like everybody.
Very true.
And that's what I'm trying to
Right.
make a point of.
Right. But Mike thinks he was changing his towels at the swim club. That's what he thinks of when he looks
What's
at
that
Orange
now?
Cassidy. He doesn't see any image when he looks at Orange Cassidy. He just looks like another guy. You know.
Somebody you can take, huh?
Huh?
Somebody you can take.
Exactly.
hurt, but not something that we were going to make a big deal out of. And the next thing I know, the next day, I'm hearing all this stuff about he's leaving. And I hadn't talked to him. We usually do our podcast on Tuesday nights. I didn't hear from him until last night, and it was just a text. And he basically told me the same thing, that it was an office decision and the management decision, and being part of the management, that was news to me. But and also Tom sent me the correspondence they had with each other, and it was very friendly and back and forth, and it made no sense to me what's been said over the last day or so. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I don't get it.
What is this going to mean to SWE?
But I can say this.
Good.
Well, I mean, he's a big help to us. There's no question about that. He gave us a lot of exposure, and he did have some money invested in Blood Hunter and Blood Hunter's opponents, and also with Selena, and I mean that's just a fact. We're not denying that at all. That was something he wanted to do. Something to help himself as well.
Okay.
So
understood.
Well, is there any way that you and Tom can negotiate with Blood Hunter and try to keep Blood Hunter around and let Hannibal go on his own way?
Oh, you mean like keep the gimmick? Wow. What do you think there, James? Any shot of that? Oh boy.
Well, it would be okay with me, and Tom made it very clear to him that he's welcome to come back.
There you go. Okay.
We thought maybe that he was just tired. He spent a lot of money being in Texas and not being able to go home to Canada, and we thought maybe he just needed a break. And I've got it text back and forth to he and Tom talking about that, and Tom offered. He said, anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. So the whole thing is just kind of odd.
Was the physicality actually, did that have legs? Because I had heard something about Just Incredible months back had actually walked out on him during a match. Was there true concern about his physicality in the ring?
There was some with some guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think some guys thought he was a little dangerous. He was very, very snug. I'll put it that way.
Snug.
And yeah. And,
gotcha.
And there were some guys that don't like that. They don't like working with that. And but it was one of the things that got him over. There's no question about that. And he was a big help to us in that way. But and we're really kind of presenting a different kind of style anyway. It's just a little more of a believability factor involved in it, and definitely a little tighter work. But and he took it a little bit beyond that sometimes. But everybody's different. Some guys. He had a match with Rodney Mack a couple of I guess about 3 weeks ago at a rodeo arena, and it was as brutal as any match I've ever been involved in. And I was refereeing it. We chased them all over the arena, and they were killing each other. And after it was over with, Rodney just smiled and went on. And then some other guys, they would get in a match like that, and they'd probably complain about it. But that's the way it is.
I got to ask you, with the timing of this news with Hannibal, and I'm saying this respectfully. Hopefully, you'll understand it when I say this, because I do like the product and I like the direction that it was heading in. But when this happens today, because of Hannibal's presence within the broadcast, YouTube world, I almost feel like whether it was intended or not on the company's part, I almost feel like you accidentally might have shot yourself in the foot. What does the company do now to get out there for the fans to help boost it? Because I do believe his presence was helping it on YouTube for sure.
Well, there's no question about that. We certainly understand that and appreciate that. He was told that. I don't know that the company shot ourselves in the foot, because we didn't do anything.
Okay.
There was absolutely nothing done by anybody in the company to force him out or try to get him to leave. In fact, just the opposite.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
Why he decided to take that approach, I guess I don't understand, because we had a good relationship. And for he and I personally, we had a very good relationship, and I don't know. It's just really strange.
Have you guys had conversations amongst yourself, like with Teddy and, of course, the main brain trust of the company? Like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're all a little I guess, puzzled by it.
Fair enough.
I don't know if it's, I don't know if maybe he just, I mean, he did say that he'd spent a lot of money, and that's true. And he's been down in Texas for a while, and he couldn't go back home or couldn't go back and forth. I think that's what the problem was. But, I don't know. I don't know what the motivation is. All he had to do was just say, I need to take a break, and that would be okay. It wouldn't be a problem, and it still isn't, as far as we're concerned.
Well,
I don't know what else we could have done. We didn't do anything to force him out. I'll put it that way.
Understood.
well, we're big fans of your federation, so we're hoping this doesn't really set you guys back. We've been rooting for you guys for a long time. So if I could just weigh in, I'd probably say you better start hanging your hat on Lacey Von Erich a little bit. That might be the answer.
Well, Lacey's a big help also. She's a presence, and not necessarily in the ring wise, but as far as getting some attention and doing some publicity type things for us, she's a big help with that.
Without a doubt. All right, so we're going to pull back a little bit. We're going to talk about some of your WCCW days. Were you around Steve Austin when he was down in that federation at all?
Oh yeah, I was there from the time, actually before he even started. He was in Chris Adams' school down there, and I worked some of his first matches. So we've known each other a long time. He would, we worked together. He'd come over to my house and watch the tape and all that stuff. With that, I knew him very well.
So let me ask you this: when he was down there, so we were talking about the documentaries and maybe the light that Savage, which you clearly said Savage was portrayed properly there. Do you think they went light on Austin, considering the problems that he's had with some of his ex-wives and some of the rumors that have happened?
I honestly have not seen that documentary yet. I guess I need to watch it. I knew Steve well. I knew Jeannie. I know that they had some issues, and Tony had some issues. I mean, she and Tony had some issues. Chris Adams' wife, and it was just it was a kind of an odd situation down there for them. Really uncomfortable situation after Steve and Jeannie started seeing each other outside the wrestling business, and their relationship got kind of weird too after a while. And I know she wrote about that in her book. If you read that, she was pretty candid about all that. And Steve's other relationships, I really don't know that much about because I wasn't around him that much after he left Dallas.
Knowing Austin from the very beginning, basically, did you foresee the magic of the career this guy wound up having? I mean, my lord.
I knew he was going to be successful. I mean, you never know that a guy's going to be that over the top successul. He was determined. He was a guy that watched all the matches and paid attention. He asked questions. He's a very studious type guy in the background, and he was always willing to train and learn different things. So he just had all those aspects, all those traits that you knew were going to lead him somewhere successful, and he was determined. And when he got to WCW, he was very. He got to a point where he was very, very, I guess, disillusioned with how they were using him, and I talked to him a little bit back in those days. In fact, I was with him at one point and went up and spent some days with him at his house and went on tour with him. I could tell at that point he was getting a little frustrated. And, he was just one of those guys that was determined, and I knew that when he got that opportunity, it was going to happen for him.
How did you feel about the Hollywood Blondes? Because my partner and I were talking about that earlier this week. Do you feel at that time that Austin was frustrated with that gimmick? Do you think that team got enough love at the time? Because they certainly didn't attain Road Warrior status.
Well, let me tell you a story. I told you I went up there and stayed with him a little bit. And in fact, I went on the road. That was when Bill Watts was booking the WCW. And I was actually going up there to talk to Bill, maybe about going to work for him. I didn't know whether I wanted to even do that or not. But I went up there and spent about a week with Steve and went on the run with him and Scott Anthony, actually, Raven. That's who he became. But anyway, we were at one of the shows and we were sitting in the dressing room, and Bill came down and called Steve over to the side. I mean, he was right there in the dressing room, but in front of everybody. And I could tell Steve wasn't happy about something. I didn't know what it was at the time. But that was the night Bill told him that they were going to put him with Pillman and make the tag team.
And Steve was mad.
And well, yeah, very. Because he had been told that he was going to be pushed kind of as the guy that comes up after Flair, the guy that takes that spot, and
right.
And he was aiming for that. And man, let me tell you, after that show, we drove home. He didn't say a word. He was really hot. We got home, got to his house in Atlanta, and he had to get out, and he got on this motorcycle and rode up around and around. He had about a 10-acre property there, and Jeannie said he's mad about something. I said, yeah, he sure is, and he was just steaming over that. And I think eventually he came to appreciate the tag team, and it worked out well for him. But
right.
Man, he was not a happy camper.
Right. Well, you've given us a glimpse into Austin's beginnings. How about a glimpse into your beginning? How do you get started in pro wrestling?
I was playing music in the Dallas area, and got to know some of the guys. They'd come into different places where I'd be, and I've been a wrestling fan all my life, really, and kind of had a clue, I guess. And when they'd get to talking to you, and they'd find out that, and then it just kind of like talking to the boys,
Right.
and eventually they kind of goaded me into, actually Bruiser Brody was one of the main guys, and kind of goaded me into trying it, and I thought, well, I'll do it just for fun, see how I like it. And next thing I know, I'm working some shows around Dallas, and the next thing I know, I'm working at the Sportatorium, and then I got a gig in Japan, and music had to take a back seat after that.
What instrument were you playing? I always ask these things to Farrell's a musician, so.
Yeah. I played some keyboards, and I was mainly the lead singer on all those bands I was in over the years.
Very nice, very nice. So you took the Hulk Hogan highway. He started as a bass player. The next thing you know, he's main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to do that, but
that's all right. You got in the door, Rabbit. You got in the door.
I did do that.
So James, you mentioned the sport. You mentioned the Sportatorium. Farrell and I, we're WWE homers, right? We grew up in the Northeast.
Sure.
But once the inception of cable came in, we started catching some of these other programs.
Oh yeah.
And certainly WCCW with the Von Erichs, right? And the Freebirds. Tell me about your relationship with the Von Erichs, especially maybe Kerry, because I've always been a huge Kerry fan.
Yes,
and
yes, you
man,
have.
oh man, go ahead.
I was probably closer to Kerry than any of them. I really didn't get to spend a lot of time around David. I knew him, but he died before I actually got into the business, and I got to know Kevin very well, and still communicate with him once in a while, But Kerry I was probably closer to Kerry than any of them, and just a sweetheart of a guy, really. You couldn't ask for a nicer guy. I mean, everybody has their issues, and all the stories are out there, and you hear all of them. Some of them are exaggerated, some of them are true. But Kerry was a super guy, just a sweetheart.
The level of heartbreak had to be unbearable when he left.
No.
Yeah.
I was in Japan. I was on a tour in Japan at the time, and they called and told me about it. And of course, I had some of the guys from the Sportatorium with me there, and I had to break the news. It was a pretty tough week. We still had another several days, and we didn't get back in time for the funeral, and it was tough. It really was. He was a special guy.
Knowing him the way you did you ever fear that something like this, a sudden end, would come to him?
Well, I hate to say it, but yeah, part of me was not 100% shocked, because Kerry would even talk about that sometimes, about going to be with his brothers, and he was pretty despondent about some personal things at the time, and I'd talked to him and worked with him just before I left to go to Japan that time, and I tried to encourage him, things are going to be okay. He had some legal issues that he was dealing with, and I just knew that if he'd just deal with them and get it over with, he'd be all right. But I guess it just got to be too much for him.
My partner absolutely adores Kerry, so I ask you, and I know that the real answer is all the Von Erichs were truly great, especially back in the day. but is Kerry the greatest Von Erich of all? I personally lean towards David, but that's me.
It depends on how you look at it. If you're talking about charisma, I've never been around a wrestler that had the charisma that Kerry Von Erich has, and I'm not talking about anybody, Hogan, anybody, just natural. And he was so athletic for a guy that weighed 265, 70 pounds. He could fly around before he hurt his leg, especially. And he was just an amazing athlete. Of course, Kevin was a great athlete as well. But when it comes down to just who I think was probably destined to have the greatest, maybe the greatest influence in wrestling, it would have to be David. He was the guy with the head on his shoulders, the guy who had the ability to work as a heel and get heat and enjoyed doing that. And I think he was, you hear all the stories and rumors about they were grooming him to take the NWA title, and I've heard that from people who were inside and knew that was exactly the case. So I have to believe that was probably true.
On the old school approach, I wanted to throw this in. How do you feel about Randy Orton? Because Randy Orton, because he works for Vince, and a lot of the independent fans tend to target Randy Orton often. I think Randy Orton's absolutely old school, especially in the vein of Southern wrestling. Am I missing something about Randy Orton? He's old school.
You're spot on. He's
thank you.
Well, he's just another Orton. I mean, his granddad was that, and his dad was. I worked with his dad many times over in Japan, and he's a chip off the old block, and yeah, he's probably the best worker in the business.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll be right back with SWE Fury's executive, Mr. James Beard, after this commercial break.
We'll be right back.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. Oh, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Jimmy, what's going on?
Yeah, nothing much.
You know, Jimmy, I love this country.
Oh.
I love to buy Made in America material. And I love to buy my artwork at TAG, T-A-A-G, Made in America, 14 East Broadway, Port Jefferson, New York, 11717. The shop at the corner.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV in Long Island, New York, with our special guest, Mr. James Beard.
All right, James, I want to throw one at you. This one bothers me as the historian side of me has a lot of issues with this. Gary Hart is one of the greatest managers ever. If there was a penthouse, I do believe he deserves to be there, because a heel manager's job is to force the viewer into complete despisal. I despise this man. I'm going to reach into the set and choke him. Any thoughts on what I consider one of the most underrated managers ever, Gary Hart? Because I feel like he's getting lost in the sands of time.
Well, first of all, Gary...
Pharaoh's final question, non-scripted, coming out of his head, and he's going to hit you with it. Could be about anything. Could be about what you eat in the morning. Could be, do you eat Fruit Loops? I don't know.
About what he eats in the morning.
Could be about his new job application.
Oh my God.
On fire in the middle of a show.
What is your idea of the worst job? Driving a car for Nick Massey or working at Walmart?
Yeah.
See, he agrees with me. Either way, it's a no-win situation. Can I ask you, what is your favorite match? Just real simple. What's your favorite match?
My favorite match?
Yeah, in the course of your career.
Let's go back to what I told you before.
Okay.
Ray Stevens, Madison Square Garden.
That's the one, huh? That's got to be it. That's the one. You got yelled at for that match.
I didn't get yelled at.
You got the finger. Come here.
I got the come here. I need to talk to you.
Okay.
That was my favorite match.
Okay,
yeah.
Then I'll add Pharaoh's final question 1A. Give me your Mount Rushmore of the 4 greatest tag teams ever, seeing that you're a tag team legend. Give me
four greatest tag teams ever?
4 greatest tag teams ever.
Jay and Jules Strongbow,
Well, there you go. It's a good start.
There you go.
Okay.
Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens,
Okay. It's Bockwinkel again. Okay.
Terry and Dory Funk,
I can't argue with that.
Wow.
Okay.
Jack and Jerry Briscoe,
That's another one. I mean, my God.
Can't beat it.
You know.
and number 5,
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes, and what the heck is his name? His tag team partner that was up in Minneapolis
Oh,
with him.
Bruiser,
Dick
Dick
Murdoch.
Murdoch. Okay.
Yeah,
Dick Murdoch. Yeah.
number 5.
Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch.
Those are 5 of the greatest tag teams, as far as I'm concerned.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, with that, we want to thank you, sir, for joining our broadcast. What an honor it has to have you in studio. Thank you for the wonderful stories, and for the fans out
Thank
there,
you.
I want to say thank
It was a
you.
pleasure being here, out in Long Island.
Thanks for the childhood memories too. That was just
Oh, childhood memories. Had to bring that up.
Sorry about that. Listen, I need a hearing aid too. What are you gonna do? I'm making you a picture. Post Bruno Sammartino, pre Hulk Hogan, Backlund, and the guy named Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yes.
Of course, we all know that you show up in the WWF defending the honor of your cousin, the great Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And boy, oh boy, talk about right place, right time,
Man.
right superstars. Jimmy Snuka is at his... He's so red hot, forget it. You got blisters all over your fingers if you touch him. Same thing with Roddy Piper. And here comes the Tonga Kid. Tell us about that awesome debut and your match with Roddy Piper at MSG. Please.
Man, it's like as hot as that hot sauce you got right there, man. That's how hot. That's how hot we were. That's how hot we were, man. We were hot as that hot sauce right there,
By
man.
the way,
I
our,
tell
our
you
new
that,
sponsor, Under the Table Hot Sauce. You got to try it, man.
man. We were on fire. We were on fire. I mean, it's like anything touches, it's gonna burn. That's how hot it was back then. I didn't realize that how hot this angle was, and how we're just on fire. Everywhere we went, sold out. I mean, again, the right place at the right time. You call it. Same thing what I said earlier about my wife. Just at the right place at the right time.
How did it come about that they broke it to you? You were going to be a part of this huge program. Were you just like blown away by it?
What?
How was it broken to you?
Well, they broke it to me in Allentown, Pennsylvania, the little hall where they shoot TV every Wednesday. Yeah, they broke it down. Jimmy got some run into some issues, or like all other wrestlers run into issues. You know, you got to send him to some kind of rehab or whatever he was dealing. Again, I was young. I don't know a lot of. That's just what I hear. Again, I was there at the same time they were talking about that, and they needed someone to try to not replace him. I could look with all full respect. I love Jimmy. He's a great person, a good mentor, a good father, good uncle, you name it all. I've been around at a young age, and I'm not trying to take Jimmy's spot. I wasn't trying to act like Jimmy. I wasn't trying to fulfill Jimmy's shoes. I could never fulfill them legend shoes. Hell, we don't even fucking wear shoes. So, you know,
That's pretty funny.
I mean, goddamn. That motherfucker wine boy. Man, you know.
There you go.
You know, I can
You
never.
were maintaining the momentum
Yeah,
of Superfly,
we
of
just
course.
had the. I had to be in the right place. When they broke that, it was for me. It was an honor. And then at the same time, I thought, man, I was actually like, can I do this? I mean, I sort of doubted myself for a minute there.
Crash course,
so
right?
I mean, I don't. They threw me into the lions. Like, yeah, wow, I'm supposed to learn that like right now.
How did that
Shit,
feel? How
You
did
got
that-
10 minutes before you're on the match, kid. Hurry the fuck up. Oh no, I don't have 10 minutes. I need to overlook this, or somebody got to show me something. Tell me anything. But it was so hot. I didn't realize how hot it was. Because keep in mind, when Snook and Piper when I jumped in, I'm young. I don't know nothing about the angle. I have no idea who Piper is. I have no idea who Mrs. T is. I have no idea who the hell these people are. But again, I happen to look like Snooker. Yeah, you're the Tonga Kid. And Vince said, hey, okay, we're going to make you the cousin. Because back then, there was a lot of Polynesian. If you guys don't look at it, I'll name a few. You got Don Morocco from South Pacific, Hawaii. You got Siva Api from Western Samoa, South Pacific. You got the Wild Samoans from the American Samoa, South Pacific. You see? So all them areas were covered. We need to hurry up and come up with a name for me. But on my favorite that helped me, it's because of my age. my age. I mean, I was like the youngest.
You're a baby.
They hired me.
You're a baby in that crowd.
They hired me.
They sure did.
Hey, 16-year-old here, we'll hire you. I'm only 16. I can't get a job. You got to be 18 or older to get in the bar. Fuck it. You're 16. You can drop kick. Okay, we're gonna. There you go.
Was Vince nervous about getting you out there on?
Well,
at
by the way,
16?
I want you to understand.
Underage, get out of
Breaking bread with this man
Yeah.
a little while ago, and we were talking about that moment.
You ate my fish, though.
I did eat your fish,
You
and
ate
and you
his
missed
fish.
out.
He
You
ate
ordered
my
steak.
fish.
That's his problem.
You're a nice
I don't
guy.
know
What'd you
what
get
to
for
tell you.
dessert? A coconut?
The fish is good.
I mean, come
the
on,
coconut.
Slam. What the
But-
hell? You're terrible.
He's younger
Go
than
on.
we are. Who would have known
Wait a minute.
that the guy
Wait a
that's
minute.
made
He got hot
it
at- he got hot at me. He got hot. He
was
got hot.
16 years old. Whatever. So I want to tell people out there.
I'm
just
not that old. I refuse to admit anything.
I
Go
want
on.
to share this story because I think it's pretty important, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
In life, there's certain moments that you remember.
Of course.
And as a wrestling fan, there's
certain-
certain moments that you remember.
Wrestling moments you
Yeah.
remember in your life. Yes,
This
go on.
moment,
Yes.
Yeah.
that match, I remember like it was yesterday. A few reasons. One, he's new to the federation. He comes on, they do that angle. He's
Yeah.
after Piper. He's defending his uncle. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That was
You can't take him seriously. He's nobody. This is Roddy Piper. They're just gonna do this crap on TV. All good. It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
But I remember the month before, Howard Finkel would always
He would tell you
announce the
next
main
month's-
event.
Next month's matches.
One of the best announcers.
Yep.
Oh,
Announces the main event, Tonga Kid against Roddy Piper.
Right.
I used to go to the Garden every month.
Right.
That month, I said, I ain't going to that.
Sold out.
I'm not ridiculous. Sold out. So we get to watch it on MSG like we used to.
Red hot.
This
That
match
was ridiculously
was
red hot.
ridiculously
Oh my God.
incredible. I had to ask him at the dinner table, and please
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah, he
I
got me
look, is this
goosebumps.
rehearsed?
I got it
because
right now.
I got goosebumps too.
got it right
That
now.
match is flawless, exciting.
Fire.
Talk about
everything.
So I
Throwing
did
your
ask
soup.
you, so maybe you could explain, because I thought it was interesting when we were having dinner. When Piper's ramming your head against the turnbuckle, I'm thinking maybe you guys talked about it, but you go ahead, take it from
so
there.
okay, so here's what happened. So we didn't rehearse that. It basically everything was on the fly. You got to keep in mind, I'm completely a virgin with everything. You know, walking into this, all I had to do was listen. But everybody has their moment to shine. Everybody wants to shine. So back then, you got the Michael Jackson, the moonwalk. Okay, Michael Jackson, one of the hottest hip hop in the fucking world right now, right? I mean, back then, the '80s. Well, I sort of put a little two and two together. Piper didn't even know I was gonna do that. He had no idea. All he knows, every Samoan you slam a headbutt together, or you bump their heads, or hit on a turnbuckle, you hit them with a chair. We don't sell it.
Right.
Our gimmick is you got a hard head. Well, yeah, we really do have a hard head. In reality, in life, we do have a hard head.
Okay.
I mean, you hit me with a chair, I'll probably go down and gag myself, but we do have hard heads because your wife or whoever can tell you that over and over and over and over again. That's what I mean by hard head. So now, here we go, the headbutt, okay, boom, everybody sells or they don't sell it. My thing was, okay, let me put a little bit of the flavor on it. I'm trying to stay with the 80s. I'm trying to stay, who's the hottest movie star? Who's the hottest hip-hop? Who's the hottest? Michael Jackson was hot. I said, okay, I can dance. I'm young. I'm from the hood. I
Now, what, you're thinking about this during the match?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this was before.
No. This is not during the match. This is the era that I was in.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
growing up in that era. The
Right.
Michael Jackson, be there, be there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit.
Right.
You know, like Rick James. You know,
Right.
back in the.
Well, what you're about to do wasn't planned, though, right? What
Not
you're
at
about to
all.
Tell us. Okay,
Not
go
at
ahead.
all.
Go ahead,
So
go for it.
Piper didn't even know it was coming. They actually, he had no idea that I could dance. So we get to the dressing room anyway. So now, boom, here comes this. A little bit of the moonwalk, a little bit of the strutting. I put a little bit of the mix. People didn't know, how does he moonwalk with no shoes? What is that move? Well, you gotta know what that move is, because that's one of the hottest fucking moves in hip hop is the fucking moonwalk. How can you not know what that is?
Yeah.
So I put that and I mix it, and on top of that, I don't have shoes. That even made it better.
Yeah.
And Samoan's got a hard head, so I'm not gonna sell it. I can do this and look straight up. Everybody does that. So why not do it, add a little dance to it, and a little bit of a moonwalk. And it's all up to the heel how to sell it. Either he'll cut me off or let me do my thing.
Right.
And he let me do my thing.
Did he
Boy,
sell that
yeah.
shit, man?
Oh, he didn't even know what's coming. He came back to the dressing room. He said, "What the fuck was that?" He don't even watch. He don't even know the Michael Jackson. He probably know, but I mean, his kids probably know more than he is. You know, but. Again, Piper's a whole lot older than me. I don't know how old, but then I was completely, like I said, Bert, I was young. So I just followed the momentum of the 80s to the 82 or whatever is happening. I'm trying to stay in the race.
His face during that, like, he had never seen anything like that before in his life.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, Jimmy, I got to tell you.
He just looked like this. He was, I mean,
Exactly.
he was looking at me like he had no idea what I was doing.
The most beautiful aspect of that moment, though, shows the amazing